Hello, everyone. This is Rob Golfi with Remax, the Golfi team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show with host Stephanie Vivier.
Well, hello there, Rob. So great to have you back on the show. How you doing today?
Good, thanks. It's getting a little chilly out there. It's something I'm not liking as much. I guess people love the cold weather. They like to ski and stuff like that, but that's not me. And but anyway, we just got to live through it. My parents immigrated to Ontario, and I have no choice. I guess I do have a choice. I can go anywhere else, but I happen to stay here anyway. So we all want sunny weather, but none of us do anything about it. Well, actually, there are people doing stuff about it right now. A lot of people are moving away from Ontario or even Canada. And we're losing a lot of really good Canadian citizens, and that's not a good thing for this country. So, but we'll find out where we land in a couple of years with all this immigration coming in and immigration going out, and so we'll see what the outcome will be in years to come.
All right. Well, yeah, it has been very chilly. We've gotten a little bit of sunshine, though. That's what I'm really holding on to, right? And I get a lot of sunshine. We have a lot of laughs and a lot of fun on this show from you, Rob, so I appreciate that. And you brought along with you today another sales representative from the Golfi team, Justin Podmoroff. Hey, Justin.
Hello.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you very much.
So Justin is a sales representative with us on the Golfi team. He's also a lead role on our leasing team with the Golfi team. So we do a fair amount of leases with the Golfi team, and Justin heads that up with us here. So he knows a lot about landlord-tenant issues. So. There's always something going on there, so he knows all about it. So we deal with that on a daily basis here.
Okay, so you at the Golfi team, Justin, do you help people get into leases? You help people who are leasing out? How does that all work?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I'm the leasing specialist on the Golfi team. We have a department of about 5 agents, 3 in Hamilton and 2 in the Niagara area. So what we do is we help landlords find tenants for their rental properties, and then we also help tenants find a place to call home. So the great thing is that we specialize in it, so we know it really well. Your typical average realtor out there, they just do a couple of leases every year, and they don't really know it that well, because leasing is completely different than buying and selling. You really got to know what you're doing. So we do hundreds and hundreds of them, so we know it inside and out.
Okay, great stuff. Well, more and more people have to lease. Not everybody can get into the housing market,
Yep.
so it's great to know that we have an expert on our side when we need to do that, or people leasing things out. What are some of the mistakes, Justin? What do people do wrong when it comes to finding a place to lease?
Are you meaning like on the landlord side?
No, on the tenant side. If I'm looking for some place, what's some of the things we do wrong?
Well, you know what? The great thing with working with a realtor on the tenant side is that we have all the proper paperwork to help protect you. When you're doing something, say if you go on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji or something like that, you're kind of doing a private under the table deal. So you got to be really cautious and careful. Whereas when you're being represented by a realtor, we have all the proper paperwork, all the proper clauses and everything like that helps protect you to ensure you're everything's safe and stuff.
Okay, that's great to know. Mm-hmm. Hey, Rob, let's get into, we talked about how the weather is cold. What about real estate? What's the temperature?
Well, the real estate market is starting to pick up a little bit of steam. Everybody's just kind of dabbling and dibbling around and questioning. Open houses are starting to be a little bit busier. People are starting to look, and the market is moving, but not aggressively yet. It will start probably in a couple weeks. You're going to start seeing more houses going on the market and more buyers coming into the market. I'm not going to say that the housing prices are going to go up dramatically, but I do see that houses are going to sell. There was a report that because of they put out a thing in the paper I just read here that the Canadian Real Estate Association expects higher demand for homes in 2025, but not for condos. And the cost of a new mortgage is cheaper than it was a year ago and may soon bottom out. That's what the bank. That's what this article is saying, that it may bottom out if the Bank of Canada stops cutting interest rates. Now, at a news conference to discuss the forecast, Mr. Cathcart pointed out that waves of millennials are eager to buy their first home. In addition, There were record levels of immigration in recent years, and some of those new permanent residents have now increasing pressure on the housing market. So the demand is starting to there. So the people that immigrated 2, 3, 4 years ago, now they've got money in the bank. They're savers, and they're good savers. They're better than the Canadians that were born here, and they've got money to buy, and they're going to be starting to look. So the market is going to, we're going to see more sales happening. There was one indication that they figured that Korea predicts that the national average home price to rise 4.7%. On an annual basis. So this is based all of Canada. The average price will be $722,221. Now, it will go up for 4.7%, but it may drop again. So it's hard to gauge what it's going to happen. Builders are still not out there building. They're just sitting and waiting. It's costing them a lot of money, the builders. They own a lot of land. They don't want to do anything because it could be more costly, but they are paying a lot of money on interest on the properties that they've purchased, and they're just sitting and not developing. So, and with builders not building, they got no money coming in to pay for the land that they're going to build in the future, and so they're digging in their deep pockets to pay for that, and that's why there's been a lot of bankruptcies in large developers, because whatever they have now, that's it. They don't have anything. They don't have money coming in to pay for anything that they have in the future that's supposed to happen. And but I do feel things are going to be busier this year. We did go through a tough 2.5 years in the market, and things are starting to change. And so timing right now, still good to buy. I do think that we're going to see the market in 2026 and 27 have rapid growth, more sales, and also the average price is going to increase a lot better than the 4.7 or 5%. I think you're going to see a lot of houses go up for a lot more money in about a year and a half from now.
Okay, so that means the time is really now, right? Because if those houses are going to be increasing in a year and a half from now, we want to get in, we want to do it now.
Absolutely. I would suggest that. Now, I remember I was looking, like the higher end markets are the craziest markets to look at. And this is one market like in Burlington. Maybe Fawn Hill could be one that you can look at too. But Burlington, I'll tell you, like the market just drops like crazy in December and January. And then it just goes up like crazy. So like people in Burlington aren't buying, and people that need to sell, they're selling at a lower price. So if you're selling a house and you're selling in December, January, you are going to lose big time. Now, as the market starts picking up February, March, and April, there's a significant difference in price. Like it could be almost close to 7 to 10% in price difference. And it's just the way Burlington operates. It's just the higher end homes there just seem to have like there's deals to be made there in December and January, but then it levels out back to normal, and then it starts climbing again. But Fawn Hill, like the high end markets, the higher end areas, they seem to take a little bit of a beating when the market's slow, just because there's not the high end buyers don't need to buy. They just want to buy. So, and that's the wants. So if you don't need to buy, they're going to sit on it and wait. Everybody wants a luxury home, but like, do we really need it? And, a lot of people end up buying a luxury home, and they live there for a while, and they say, well, I satisfied my goal of buying a luxury home, but I couldn't care less about it because I only use 2 rooms mostly. Well, actually 3 rooms. They use the kitchen, family room, and the bedroom. All the other 5,000 square foot space that's extra in that house, they're not even using. And then they realize that, and they end up going back to a normal size, 2,400 square foot house or whatever, or 3,000 square foot house, which is more manageable. But when you have a large home, a lot of people end up move in, and then they end up leaving, or they want to leave, and a lot of them end up regretting buying these large homes unless you're into entertaining and you have a company and you do a lot of entertaining. Yes, you know, that makes sense. You know, have a lot of parties and you need space for people to go. Like if you're having 50 people all the time at your house, you know, maybe 3-4 times a year, it does make sense, you know, but yeah.
Or if you got a whole bunch of kids, enough kids to, you know, have a whole soccer team play against one another, you know, maybe you want to have that much space.
Exactly. But most cases, people have money when they're older in life, not when they're younger. So you need those houses when you're a young person, not as an older person, because now you know, if the kids are in high school, they're going to be leaving the nest probably within few years, and now you're stuck in this big house with nobody running around. But it's nice to have a big house. Too bad it wasn't reversed. You have lots of money at the beginning of starting a family, and then you can have the big house and they all can run around. They have the pool, they have lots of square footage, but it doesn't seem to work that way anyway. But yeah, it's the market is moving along, and we're definitely anticipating a better year than last year and the year prior to that.
Okay, well, that's some exciting news right there. And CREA, Canadian Real Estate Association, agrees with you. There's going to be a higher demand with homes, but not for condos. I think, and this is something that you've spoke about in the past, Rob, that really condos are not on trend when it comes to housing.
Condos are not on trend. I know, like, I don't know if they overbuilt or they're like what's going on there, but condos are a tough. For me, it's not my best investment. I'm not a big condo investor. And there are a lot of guys that are, but you can't, as an investor, you cannot make money renting it out right now. It's just the cost to run that condo with putting 20% down as a down payment and having the amount of rent coming in, it just doesn't cover. And so the condos are taking a beating because mostly they're, to build a condominium building, it's mostly investors. And if investors aren't buying them, they're not, the developers aren't selling them. We need those investors to buy them. And they buy 5 at a time, 10 at a time. It just depends. And sometimes they try to flip them before they take possession, before they're finished. And that happened a lot for like a good 20 years in the GTA. But in the Hamilton, Niagara region, it's a little tougher. I mean, people started doing it, but then some people got caught. And you don't want to be the last guy there. And then all of a sudden, you're buying a condo and it's worth less than what you paid what you paid for, what you initially signed the contract for. I mean, there's people out there that I was at a house and these people signed a contract in 2019 and they just took possession last year. So they made made out like bandits when it was finished because
5 years.
Exactly, 5 years, yeah. And the condo developer definitely lost. I don't know if he lost money, but he didn't make as much money because the cost of building went up significant since the time through COVID. And the people that bought, I mean, they made money immediately as soon as they moved in. So it was a win-win for the buyer. The developer, I'm sure he made money, but probably not as much. He had probably a lot of headaches, and for the amount of money that he made, it wasn't worth it. So the condos, to me, they are taking a beating. You're not going to see new high-rise condos going up for a while. Right now, whatever you see out there is from stuff that was purchased 3 to 5 years ago. So these are condos that are being built because they were sold 3 to 5 years ago when the market was good.
We'll bring Justin in on this for a minute here, Rob, because I imagine, Justin, you work with a lot of those investors Rob was just talking about. So even though people maybe don't want to buy the condos, I imagine those are still pretty hot for leasing.
You know what? The condos are hit and miss. The 1 bedrooms are really popular because they're more affordable for people. So usually those go pretty quickly, but I find that the 2 bedroom condos, those are tough to rent out. They have a higher days on average market, but at the end of the day, they do get rented out. It's just the investors have to have a little bit more time and patience with those ones.
All right. Some great inside information there. You're listening to the Golfi Real Estate Show here on CKTB. You can give the Golfi team a call at 905-641-0308. Online, robgolfi.com. Our guest today, Rob Golfi himself, and he's brought along with him Representative Justin Podmoroff. He's a leasing specialist with the Golfi team, and they're going to stick around. We've got more great information on the other side here on News Talk 610 CKTB.